Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Fresh Squeeze podcast. I'm your host this week, Justin,
I'm his co-host Jeremy.
and we have a very special episode for you this week. We're going to have our first guest on the show. We'd like to introduce our friend and fellow music maker, Manny Zumar. What's up,
What's
man?
up, people?
How's it going?
It's pretty good, man. It's going.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here and excited to talk.
I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks for the invitation.
No
For
problem.
sure.
Yeah, it's hard to get giant artists like me.
I know. I mean, it
Busy
really
schedule.
months in the planning, lots of booking.
We honestly didn't think your agent would get back to us.
I know I was shooting with Justin Timberlake for a bit, and
Oh, really? Yeah.
and then we were
Nice.
talking, and I was like, hey, I got to do this, man.
I
It's a
got to do
home-
this.
It's a
Gotta take-
hometown thing.
Gotta take priorities.
Hometown show.
Yep. Yeah. And so he understood. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, we're here to first discuss about your new music project titled Unwanted Nostalgia, your first premiere album.
That's right.
And so we just wanted to hear all about it. So,
Okay. Yeah.
maybe we could you could give us a little synopsis of how you would introduce it. Just talk about it basically. You can go into some inspiration of other artists maybe that inspired you to make it, or just
Okay.
other things that went into making it that you think's worth telling.
Yeah, I would say my biggest inspiration for this album was Doja Cat. Are you laughing?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, as you guys mentioned, my first debut album is out. What's funny about it is I didn't expect it to become an album. I actually planned on releasing like an EP first. I wanted to do like 4 songs and kind of just follow along the same structure of the album. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to fully listen to the entire thing, but I wanted to go
Yeah,
get through
we didn't listen to it at all.
No, not at all. No.
Just running an interview.
Just going in blind.
We actually have no idea what type of music you make.
Yeah, literally none.
Wait, so there's
Yeah.
actually music? What?
Yeah. I just made it up in No, yeah. I wanted when you listen to the album, there's a giant storyline that kind of runs along the entire music. In this case, I wanted to dwell a little bit on some of the things that I've gone through, like in past relationships, things that worked, things that didn't work, unfortunately. And I guess I wanted to take in those elements. And there's as teenagers or people, well, more than teenagers, young adults,
Yeah.
whatever, we all kind of go through these experiences at one point or another, doesn't matter when. And I guess I wanted to take these elements and put it into my music. It's at least for me, a big part of making my songs is the emotion behind it.
Sure.
And I wanted it to be something that I could sing about, write about, and be comfortable with, and definitely not point like any fingers or anything at people.
Mhm.
I basically created this storyline that this person I had, don't name the character, I guess you can say it's me, but it's really just this make-believe person.
Yeah.
Storyline. And in the songs, towards the very beginning, he's surrounded by all these voices, as you probably heard in the intro.
Mm-hmm.
And all these voices are pretty much what goes inside of people's heads sometimes. And going into a relationship, perhaps you're thinking, oh, like, I don't know what's going to happen, like, is this going to be a good one, is this going to be a failure again, I'm scared about it. And then all these voices coming in and out, and that's kind of what I wanted to bombard you with, like all these voices for that intro. Then you go into the next song, technically the first song of the album. It's titled "Scared to Fall for You." So in this song, I know I featured these like synths that sound haunting. There's a lot of echoing and reverb going on, and kind of just made you feel like, hey, this is kind of scary. Like it sounds
Yeah.
like a fun song, but it's also
Okay, yeah,
it's got some energy, but you also
Mhm.
kind of feel like uneasy about it.
maybe a little eerie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
eerie. I would say that's a perfect word for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys felt that, but at least that's what I was going for, for that song. And I mean, I'm sure we can go into the next couple of songs as we keep talking.
Mhm.
But the I guess one of the biggest inspirations for me. I'm a huge rock enthusiast. It doesn't matter what kind. I know we've talked about how rock has so many different avenues. You got the Beatles, you got the Strokes, you've got so many different types of people that play rock, and inspired by rock. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately because they're no longer a band, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it later on. But Daft Punk,
Yes.
a lot of the elements that they bring in with their techno, they were famous for bringing in all these rock and jazz and
Right, yeah.
all disco,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to do something like that, hip hop. I've been listening to some Jaden Smith, and at one point I was like, this is some good stuff. I'm gonna add.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've listened to some Jaden lately. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
this is pretty good actually.
yeah, he's come a long way.
He really has. Yeah.
So there's just all these little inspirations here and there, but that's pretty much the general gist of that song, of the entire album. Kind
Yeah.
of just failed relationship, unfortunately.
Cool. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think it's cool when an artist will make a album or a group of songs based off like an idea instead of just like random sounds together.
Mm.
Because
No,
I
yeah.
think, yes. So with some albums, you can kind of see like they're trying to tell a vocal story rather than some of them just have, I guess, what you could just be like a mixtape of cool sounding songs. But
Yeah.
I think
No, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think I agree. And even like for mine, there was actually a lot of songs that I ended up cutting out that you guys never got to hear. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
were pretty good in my ears, and some of them were like, So it happens. You write a couple great songs, a couple terrible ones.
yeah, that's the process. I mean,
Yeah, and yeah, I guess the biggest challenge for me was trying to figure out like how the songs were gonna fit next to each other, as you're playing them.
yeah,
I wanted my album to kick off with like a energizing, like doom doom doom,
Yeah.
doom,
Something really powerful. Yeah.
yeah,
get
yeah,
you interested and pumped
yeah,
right off the bat. Yeah,
yeah. So for the first like three songs, all you're hearing is like pure energy, and then I know like there's an interlude in there where it's kind of just guitar and it's very chill. It starts fading down, with the
yeah,
guitaring and piano, and I
Yeah.
guess that's more going in the right direction of starting to see the reality of things, within a relationship. It's like
Mm-hmm.
maybe this isn't working out, and I think uh, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I think I did a pretty good job at following that strand of like a failed relationship. Being excited at first and slowly dwindling down, and kind of like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. Highs and lows.
Yeah, highs and lows, I think, is the best way to
sure.
put it.
Yeah, and when we mentioned about like the music flowing, we already discussed about this before that you want to emphasize. We both think it's important when someone releases an album. Mostly, they put it in order for a reason.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we both said we're advocates for listening to a new album in order to see
yeah.
how the artist initially made them that way. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I know we talked about this earlier as well. How there's so many people that they just, oh, let me click on the seventh song. Let's see what
Yeah.
this is about. Like,
yeah,
no, now you lost the story, man.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna click shuffle play and see what happens. But it's
Yeah,
like, no, you want to at least the first time listen to it like the way that they meant for it to be experienced.
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, it's kind of like skipping into like either a movie or a book.
Yeah.
It's same
true. Yeah,
experience.
yeah,
Like you don't want to. What if you get spoiled?
Yeah, you just can't skip 100 pages into a book and expect to enjoy it as much as you would if you started from the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah, exactly. You're missing all the characters, all the
Yeah.
development. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
yes, yeah. That's definitely an important point. So, do you think you want to expand on maybe some making of the album? Maybe how long have you been working on this, and maybe some just behind the scenes tidbits on it?
Yeah, what's really going on in the studio? Yeah, I think one of the cooler things that I experienced with this album is bringing back a lot of projects that I started when I first ever started producing, and this was probably, I want to say, like 2-3 years ago. I ended up buying it with the program for production with one of my friends. You guys know him as David.
Hmm.
Yep.
I am, so I ended up buying that with him, and we were both complete noobs, and we're like, we have no idea what this does. Super complicated stuff. There's a giant learning curve to it. And I remember I made eventually, like a year in after I messed around, I made this song, which later came to be called "Imprisoned" on my album,
Yeah.
and the one that features the rapping in it. I knew from the very start. I was like, I want to have. I know there's so much potential to this beat. I just don't know where it's gonna go, and I don't think I have the necessary knowledge and the necessary uh, connections with people
Hmm.
to take it to that next level. So I thought, I'm just gonna chill with it. And so I remember I made a first version of that song on my own completely with like no rapping, just pure vocals,
Yeah. Okay.
and it was okay. It was my very first kind of demo, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is solid. And
So that was like the first one you put together? Or-
yeah, it's one of the first ones that I ever
Okay.
recorded. Yeah. Funny enough, that became one of the last songs that I worked on
Yeah.
this album. And I would say, and I know I'm kind of straying into just one song here. I'll get to to the other ones, but I kind of just focusing on that one. I thought it was one of the last songs, and it was actually one of the most complicated songs, the more intricate songs that I worked in, because there's just so much going on, and a lot of people, in my head, I kept thinking, well, what are the people going to think? Do people like that I'm kind of using autotune in some parts, and I'm kind of messing with my vocals in some parts, and there's a giant group of people that are like, oh, he's using autotune. I can't listen to this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, some biggest artists live off of that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, especially most rappers these days would probably sound pretty terrible without autotune. So
yeah,
I see Travis Scott, Post Malone. I mean,
oh,
Yeah.
don't dish on them. Oh, come on, man. Post Malone.
no,
actually,
have you heard his voice,
he's-
Justin, without is still
it's-
so good.
It's
I
phenomenal.
recently
Is
just
it?
saw a TikTok
Yeah.
about it and like comparing it, and it was really good.
Yeah. No,
okay.
yeah. No, some of these artists, like, I think that's what I'm getting at. Like, they can sing without the autotune, and then the autotune just enhances, some of the
Okay.
Just
the
fine tunes.
fine
Yeah.
tunes. Yeah. And it's something that you need, in an album. And if you want to, I mean, if you don't want to do it, go for it. But that's your option. And anyway, that was kind of my first time where I bought a version of autotune, and it's kind of just messing around with it. So you kind of hear that in the album, but especially in this song, I was like, I worked with another artist. His name is he's featured in the album. His name is Crowded Places, and he has phenomenal music as well. Like he's been cranking out music for a while now, and he released one of his EPs. We're actually going to talk about his EP now.
This is his show now.
Yeah.
We can give him a little plug.
Yeah, he released one of his EPs not too long ago. I want to say like a month ago or so. And in his track, he featured a lot of like autotune vocals, but also just normal vocals. So he found a way to like mix those in.
That's cool.
And,
Yeah.
and I wanted to do the same thing. And so I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, if you want to write some, what's funny is I told him to write the verses for the album, for the song, and he mistakenly made the chorus thinking that was the verse.
No.
So he ended up taking the chorus instead, and I was like, oh, well, I guess we can work around this now. He's like apologizing to me. He's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, man. I'm like, no, we're gonna make this work.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you guys heard him. He sounds
Yeah.
sounds
It was,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. When I first heard it, it was unexpected, but I was like, oh, I really like this.
It's like, hey, yeah.
yeah, that's exactly. And I was like, I don't want to throw this away. Like,
No.
this is gold. I don't want to redo it. And that's when I brought in I guess my arsenal, back to square one, the demo that I first made. I'm like, well, I wrote lyrics to this a long time ago. Let me pull some of those over and kind of reconstruct this song. And for the longest, that was the title of the song. It was called "Imprisoned Reconstructed," just because there was so much going on,
Mhm.
And I think that song alone took me like a month to produce
Wow.
because there was just so much going on.
Yeah.
And the rest of the songs, I know I've been talking for a while, but
No,
the
keep
rest
going.
of,
It's all right.
yeah, and the rest of the songs were produced, I want to say, within like 3 to 4 month span. So altogether, it was like 5 months. Almost half a year.
Mhm.
And but the one song, that took me the most was Worth a Month. So yeah.
I mean, at least for me, I mean, well, I'm sure we'll get to this later, but like that was, I'd say, one of my personal favorites. So I think it definitely paid off. So
Thanks, man.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, it's definitely the one. I know we were talking about Daft Punk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's heavy inspiration behind that one. I wanted to bring in hip hop, but I wanted to bring in Daft Punk. And I know, kind of like in the song Starboy, with the Weeknd.
Yeah.
How they managed to merge these two like genres, with the Weeknd's vocals, and it doesn't sound anything like it, but it's the inspiration of mixing in those two things. So yeah, I mean, if you guys like the movie Tron, at one point you're gonna listen to this song and you're gonna be like, hey, this sounds a lot like that one song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, heavy inspiration for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to inspiration for the songs, you told us to watch for the beats on the songs, your song Dreams, because that had a bit of a electro-tron-esque some beats to it, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And let's see, it was so maybe if you briefly want to give us kind of like a rundown for each
Dreams?
song and kind of what you're the idea you're going for
Yeah.
each one.
Yeah, you mean for Dreams or for all of them in general?
You can go down the list if you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess we can start with the Dreams. I guess that's the one that I told you guys to kind of like tune in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, I don't know how many people listen to this, probably like a couple thousand people.
Yeah, obviously.
If you jump onto my Instagram, there's a little clip that I only uploaded to Instagram because I didn't want to get copyrighted. And it's the scene from the actual Tron movie. And in this scene, it's when Sam is walking into the arcade for the very first time. And I remember sitting down one day and I was watching that movie and I was looking at the scene, and in the actual scene, the song that plays is Separate Ways, I believe, by Journey.
Yeah, Journey. Yep.
And I remember listening to that song and I'm like, man, that song is so great. It's got the awesome guitar riffs, it's got the beautiful drums just slapping throughout the entire thing, his vocals, phenomenal. And so I was like, yeah, I wish I could make something like that. That obviously that song it's timeless. People are gonna hear that for decades. But I wanted to kind of just try it out. Like what is it that I can do? What could I say I wrote something for this scene in particular, an arcade. So that's what I had in mind when writing it. I was like, okay, well, if somebody was walking to an arcade and playing games and they're having all these 8-bit sounds going on,
sure, yeah,
what song would be playing in the arcade? And I got the inspiration directly from that scene. I'm like, well, I'm gonna need guitars, I'm gonna need drumming, I'm gonna need cool vocals, I'm gonna need some autotune in there as well at some points.
Yeah.
And I remember I shared it with a friend, and all of my songs really kind of go from like a crappy demo like they honestly they're kind of garbage at first, and that's just how it is with production. You're like, you kind of have an idea and then you make something and it's like
it's all right.
Yeah
that makes sense.
Yeah. And initially I had this like piano arpeggio that was just a lot like Tron.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I was like, this sounds cool, but like I already kind of have that going on with Imprison, and I didn't want to repeat sounds throughout the entire album. So I kind of just I stuck with just normal piano chords, and then brought eventually in the guitar that you guys hear throughout the chorus. And I wanted that to kind of just ride out. I didn't really want any vocals going in that much, besides just like, just let me know, that part. I had that going on, but I was like, I don't want anything else really touching this space.
Sometimes you just want to focus on that one beat or that one sound, because sometimes that might be the most memorable part sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. I wanted it to be as powerful as it could be, and I think the best way to do that was just leave it alone. And like, if people ever hear that song and they recognize it at one point, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that song because of that guitar riff. And I had synths going on there as well, that just made it sound super like 8-bit, very electronic. So that was mainly the inspiration for that song. So I had a lot of fun making that one, actually. So I know I want to talk about the people that like were featured in it as well. I have a friend named Ethan, and he came on with this song. He saw the demo first, the crappy version, and
He's like,
and
okay.
yeah, and I sent it to him, and he wrote his lyrics to it. And like initially we were gonna have like he wanted to write for like a girl vocal. So we initially, the song is talking about dreams, kind of like how you're stuck in this relationship almost, you know, how it could be a nightmare, it could be a daydream. You never really discuss as to
Mhm.
which one it is, and you're kind of trapped there, you know. And then we wanted to bring in like a female vocal and bring in like her side, the perspective on her side of the relationship.
That would have been interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you never know. Maybe at some point further down the line, I'll have somebody jump on. You know, we'll make a Dreams 2.0 or something like that.
Yeah.
Dreams too.
Yeah, yeah, Dreams to be or something like that. You know,
Hey, yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, and unfortunately, we just didn't have any. I don't know any female vocal artists right now. You know, so unfortunately, it just didn't work out. And so we ended up scrapping that idea, and then I ended up writing the entire thing myself because I reconstructed that song as well. You know, from the crappy version to what you guys now know.
Mhm.
And I sent it over to Ethan. I'm like, hey, let me know what you think of this. And this guy's like, oh man, like what did you do, man? I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And he's like,
Right?
oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's like,
what did you do?
yeah, yeah.
Dude, you ruined it.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh man, he probably hates it. And he's like, no, dude, this is solid. He's like,
Yeah.
do you want me to just like sing the song that the lyrics that you put in there? I'm like, yeah, just go for it. And I remember I was talking to my sister about this, and she's like, I actually thoroughly enjoy his part alone.
Mhm.
She basically saying screw you, you know, like screw my part. She said she goes back to his vocal because there's a way and a way of an enunciation that he does that I didn't do in my song, and it's kind of in the lyrics. If you guys listen to it, he says, "Why you're loving no sound," and he kind of like enunciates sound, you know, and it's just to me the little details, you know, that
Yeah.
you're listening to, and that wasn't going to be that wasn't in my take, you know. In my take, I was just like, "Why you're loving no sound,"
Yeah.
and then he just brings in this like little nuance, this like little enunciation of it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is it,
Yeah.
you know. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So yeah, when it comes to the process of making the music, obviously, how would you break it down? I thought you probably had to focus on the vocals, the instruments, and
Yeah.
the digital editing. Of all out of that, which do you think is your favorite to do, or maybe is even the hardest to do?
I would probably have to go with like my favorite being when I'm like even when what you're seeing right now in my background. I know the people that are listening aren't gonna see this, but like people that view it, I have a piano back there, and I have a couple guitars sitting over there too, a couple over here, and the reason that I surrounded myself with all these like instruments, it's they're pretty much all over the place. It wasn't meant to be like, oh look at all the guitars. It's just like
Mhm.
a way for me to kind of be constantly bombarded by the idea that like, hey, you know, we're here. We have something. Just whenever you're ready to process something, go for it. And you know, we've got your back. And that's exactly what happens. And I remember sitting on my piano one day, or laying in bed, I can't remember. And I got up and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write a song today. And I wrote this like little arpeggio, which was the demo of Dreams.
Mhm.
And you know, I started singing to it, and you know, I think the coolest part is when you pretty much have the entire song in your mind and it's there. And like my favorite thing to do is like I have, you know, the recording notes that you can do on your iPhone,
Mhm.
absolutely
okay.
just filled. You know, it's like I don't know if are you guys posting this video at some point or no? Because I could show you real quick. Just it's hilarious.
Yeah, if you got it there, we'll put
Yeah.
it up on YouTube.
Yeah. So let's see. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me zoom in. Okay. So you
There
Yeah,
see
we
you
can
that?
see it. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So just constant.
Just constant
Wow.
files. Yeah.
That's what it takes. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it just goes on. It's insane. You
Yeah.
know? And a lot of the songs, I probably just leaked some of the upcoming songs and
Hey yo.
Demo tapes.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the songs sometimes I'm just sitting there, I'm like rocking out or just, you know, emotionally there, and I'm like, yeah, this is I got to record this. And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of it, of production, just being in the most raw state of it,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Eventually, that drags over into actual production, but I would say that's probably my favorite part of it.
Nice. So I think, yeah, there's obviously a lot of different elements to throw in there, so it's cool to see what you like to focus on. Now, yeah, we touched on Dreams, how, as you said, the 8-bit track, I really like the tone of that.
Yeah.
And I think it was on Don't Go Stay that I really liked the beat on that one too.
Yeah, I remember that one completely. Oh yeah, dude, that was probably one of my favorite ones to make as well. And I want to say that, I don't know if you want me to elaborate. I don't know if you had another question.
Oh, you can a little bit. I was just gonna mention a couple others, but
okay, yeah. I mean, I won't take too much time, I guess. Yeah, that one was kind of an accident, like the way that it kind of came about.
Really?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this sounds nice too. I guess it's a song.
Yeah. I was talking with the one girl that features on my song. Her name is Abigail, and she's funny. I don't even know her in person. And she just when they commented on my music, and she's like, oh, I'd love to. She sent him in her actual recording of like her relationship stuff that had occurred. Cool. And that's kind of what's being featured throughout the entire thing. And you hear that at the end of Don't Go Stay.
Right.
And I remember I was telling her, I'm like, hey, I kind of want to like we had recorded the intro. She had sent me in like all her vocal takes for it and whatnot. And then I think like a week later, I hit her up. I was like, hey, I'm gonna want to do like an outro at some point, And she's like, yeah. She's like, let me know whatever you want. And I sent her like a recording, like via text or whatever. I'm like, it was just kind of going on. I'm like, oh, I don't really know what I want. I guess I kind of want like church organs or something. I don't know, kind of like a big finale type of thing.
Yeah.
And like I was just like I have a keyboard right here as well, and I was like, let me see. And I had the church organs pulled up, and I kind of just played random notes. And I was like, dun. And I was like, actually, wait a second, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
And I recorded them, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. We'll see. And I sent it over to her. She's like, dude, this is nice.
So what did you do?
Yeah, what did you do? Yeah, that just becomes a running gag with everything. Yeah, and then I sent it to her, and then I popped everything onto the actual production. And what I ended up doing was pretty much, it features like strings, and it features church organs and piano, and it has this like driving bass line that you guys hear that's kind of go whoomp, whoomp, it's kind of going back and forth. And that's the bit that was an accident, because I was originally just going to have one giant bass line going through, and I forget what I did. Like in the actual production, you can do this thing where you cut in and out of like of the actual audio that you record, and I plopped it in by accident. I was like, oh crap, and I was about to delete it, and I think it played on its own, and then it was like I was like, wait a second,
that's kind of fire.
Yeah. And I remember I was just like going with it. I was like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I don't want to sing over it because it's just, there's so much going on.
Okay.
And that's when I got the idea. I was just like, don't go, stay. I'm like, that'd be kind of silly. I'm like, probably not. But then I recorded it anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, don't go, stay, and I sung that. And I didn't really particularly like my voice in that, and I was like, just gonna pitch this up. Let's see where it goes. And that's the little voices that you hear throughout the entire track right there. They're actually saying, don't go, stay. That's me. It's just pitched up. Cool. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I think sometimes in songs when there's like just like too much non-singing audio in it, I'm like, okay, this is a bit of a stretch. But I think in yours and in other songs, when they add in like little tidbits of audio, that kind of gives it a bit of flair. With the singing, kind of makes me think. I think that's something that like Khalid does a lot. He'll throw in little monologues.
Yeah. I know he did that at the end.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. He did that at the end of like what's that one song called? Young and Broke.
Oh,
Oh,
Young, Dumb, and
Yeah,
Broke.
Dumb and
Young,
Broke?
Dumb, and Broke. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at
okay.
the end, my favorite part of the song is like listening to the very end, where it turns into like a little kid vocal. It's like,
Yeah.
da, da,
Oh,
da, da,
yeah,
da,
I
da,
forgot
and
about
Yeah.
yeah, and I love that.
Also, I think
I'm-
it's on also the song American Teen as well. Yeah. The
okay.
very end of that one.
Yeah, yeah, he's really he's awesome, and you know
Yeah.
he goes for all
Khalid's
that.
just a vibe.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anyway, so Jeremy, was there any specific songs or parts of songs that you wanted to mention on and say was your favorite?
Yeah, so I actually have I pulled up a little list that I made over here of my top 3 favorites that I
Okay.
really liked out of the album. One, obviously, we have already talked about in pretty good length is Dreams. I mean,
Okay.
overall, yeah, it's really good. I just love like the beat and the whole vibe of the song. Two, Unwanted Nostalgia. I really like that song too.
Oh,
Just
I really
sweet.
like that one
yeah,
too.
there's just something about
Sweet.
that song that I was just sitting there. I was just like, I don't know. There's no other word I can say except vibing.
Head bobbing.
I was just like, this. I was
Yep.
like, this is it, dude. Yeah, I was like, yeah. And then lastly is In Prison, because I remember
Okay.
you had told us the other day how you were like when you listen to it, you were saying how you could just like imagine yourself like in the world of Tron, and I'm just
Yep.
sitting there with my headphones on, and the whole time I was like, he was right. I was like, because
That's awesome.
it reminded me of like the beginning of the movie when like the logo happens and they're kind of like shifting through the city, you know, that part at the very
Yeah,
beginning.
I know exactly what you're
That's
talking
the
about.
part it reminded me of, and I was like, dude, this is really good. So
Yep.
those are my 3 favorites.
Awesome,
So
man.
Yeah,
No,
I think my favorite was probably Unwanted Nostalgia as all. I think it was
Sweet,
just adding in the beats and the vocals. It worked very well. So
man.
yeah,
It's crazy. I almost didn't include that one in the album.
really,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I feel like yeah that that seems pivotal now.
the
yeah. It is.
hidden
I mean,
gems. in the
yeah.
album.
It ended up being. That's not. I remember I was writing that song, and like because I had 8 songs almost pretty much fully done, and
Mhm.
I think that one came after In Prison because I think those were the final 2 that I wrote. So it was In Prison and then that one. And I was like 8 songs, and I was like, I don't know, this doesn't seem long enough. Like I need one more song, like one more
Yeah.
good song.
Yeah.
And I remember I had this person that I was talking to, this friend, and she had introduced me to this artist called Tender. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them.
I don't think so.
No.
That's amazing beats. It's very, very vibey, very chill.
Mhm.
Nothing like ridiculous is going on, but it's just something that you can play in the nighttime and you're cruising and you hear it, and it's just, you know, it's got. I wanted to have something like that in my album. I'm like, I think it's a nighttime album, and I feel like you need a song that you can kind of just chill out to.
Yeah.
You know, not be something that's like, you know, you're rocking out to, but it's just something you can vibe with.
Oh yeah.
And I was studying his music or their music. I don't know if they're a band. I was studying their music. I'm like, you know, what is it that makes them like this? And one of the prime elements that I heard in their music is just this simple kick, just dum, 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 throughout the entire song.
Mhm.
You know, you cut it off here and there, but you kind of, that's what drives you throughout the entire song. You're kind of just like, oh yeah, that's the head banging. You know,
Yeah.
that's what you're synchronizing with.
I guess
And
yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. I guess.
yeah. And then I know I wanted to include this, like, for the longest, I wanted to do some sort of like Japanese inspired like melody.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know how to do that. So I looked up some, you know, Japanese styled music and whatnot. And they all feature this, like, I forget what they're called. They're kind of like, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. Like, they're like bells. They kind of just sound, you know, Asian like. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be racist. They just sound really cool. It's a compliment, you guys.
Yeah.
And I looked up. I know there's like an actual, what do you call it? I forget the word now. There's an actual thing that you follow of notes, a sequence of notes that you
Yeah.
follow, and but I didn't look into that. I was just like, whatever. I'm gonna make my own thing, and I came across these bells. And that's the pretty much the thing that you hear throughout the entire song. Da dum ba dum bum.
Okay.
Da dum bum. And I was like, oh, this sounds amazing. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know. So that's where it went. And then I didn't have any lyrics for it. And then I looked at the title of my album, which was already labeled as Unwanted Nostalgia. And I was like, I wonder if that would fit somehow into the song. And as you guys can already tell, I mean, it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that one was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to make for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. I think we covered well the reviewing the songs and the beats and all.
Yeah.
Another thing I
Mhm.
wanted to at least mention is talk about the album cover and all the song artwork that you made.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, dude.
how'd you end up coming up with kind of the visual style for it and the cover and maybe even the title?
Yeah. Well, again, like what I was saying, I wanted this to be like a world that I was building, you know. And in my head, when I write music or listen to any songs, I kind of try to envision like the setting of the song. You know, there's all these elements that go into a song, and you can kind of picture yourself in a music video, you know, per
Mhm.
se. And I know like what we mentioned is, you know, a nighttime album, and we mentioned that there's all these like haunting little things that come in and out, you know, the sounds, you know, they're kind of surrounded by voices, and you're surrounded like in a darkness, you know, you're in a dream world. So I wanted to kind of go into that direction with our artwork.
Yeah.
And especially for the actual album artwork, I wanted to feature something that was like um you know, like I don't want to sound depressing, like, but kind of dark, you know,
Yeah.
Sure.
sense, you
Yeah.
know, something dark, but also I wanted to have a sense of hope, you know, and that sense of hope ended up being the giant heart that you guys see
Yeah.
across the song. And like in that album, that's kind of like the thing that's glowing, you know, you're kind of surrounded by this,
Oh, okay.
I'm surrounded by this darkness, you
Yeah.
know, and you kind of, everything's blurry, you know, everything's kind of like being mixed around, the colors and everything. So you know,
Hazy.
yeah, hazy.
Yeah.
And which is actually the name of the album that I thought was gonna, that I thought that's what I was gonna call the album. It was gonna be called originally Hazy Thoughts or Hazy
Really.
Field, yeah, Hazy Field of Dreams or something like
Mhm.
that. And I ended up settling on Unwanted Nostalgia because, you know, it just worked out better with
Yeah.
everything that this story was talking about. And yeah, I wanted that to be like a leading factor into the thing. So, you know, surrounded by darkness, but you still kind of have hope. And unfortunately, that hope that's lighting up is kind of broken, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and it's something, you know.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because did you made an art piece for each song?
Yeah, yeah, I did. That was more of just it. That started out just more as fun, for fun type of thing.
Mhm.
And I remember, I think one of the first ones that I drew was for "Scared to Fall for You," and then that one, I at some point in life, I want to shoot a music video, and I know I wanted to kind of include this kind of like forest, and everything's kind of dark, and then there's these hints of like the pink that you see in the heart in my album cover, and I kind of wanted that to be like something that was guiding you throughout the entire forest, you know. So I guess that's kind of where that came from, and then the rest of the album artwork is just based on the actual songs, you know. So if you're
Yeah.
listening to it, you kind of see the elements
Okay.
that I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, when I looked at them, like some of them, yeah, seem kind of like you're out in nature or they were out in or someplace in Earth, but some of them almost seem kind of alien or kind of
Yeah.
Kind of
yeah,
out of this
dreamlike,
world.
out of this world. So
Kind of like in a dream world.
Whoa.
Oh. Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah.
You know,
Cool.
it's just, you know, carrying you out through these different locations. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me being from an artist background, I liked seeing how those were put together and the colors and the way you made them.
Oh, thanks, man.
And
Yeah. Buy Justin's merch, guys. He has it on Redbubble. So.
check me out on Redbubble. We've already plugged it before.
Oh, have you?
But
Okay.
anyway, yeah, and if people like your stuff, they can check out your art or your merch on your website, right?
Yeah. Speaking of, yeah, I decided to release merch. I probably should have been wearing it for this occasion, but
It's
yeah,
okay. We'll plug it.
we'll plug it. Yeah, if you guys want to go on to my website, it's on mannyzumar.com. So I own the domain now, which is pretty sweet.
Nice.
And yeah, go on there, and there's tons of things that you can buy, you know, sweatshirts, hoodies, shirts. I also have a lot of the art that you can kind of see in the background there. A lot of those are the actual, you know, art pieces that were inspired for the songs, you know. So if you want to support me, go for it, you know. If you just want to look at it, you can do that too.
You can buy it, or it could just be an art gallery.
Yeah, or it could just be an art gallery. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I think I like the one if you get what I'm saying. It almost looked kind of like cyberpunk-esque in like a futuristic city.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That one
That
was cool.
was yeah. That one was
Sci-fi. Yeah.
yeah. That one's the one that I made for Imprisoned.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, okay.
Nice.
yeah, yeah. So it
Cool.
fits in right with that. Kind of wanted to do like a Tron like
Yeah.
city. Yeah.
Very nice. So
Yeah. Let's see.
yeah,
We weren't
any other lasting
lasting bits on the
any
song.
lasting bits that people need to know?
Song, album, production, anything
What does the
Let's see.
future hold?
for Manny
Oh.
Zumar.
Oh man. I would say it's definitely just a start, you know. The end of the album, kind of the vocal that's being said is that you have to just move on to the next chapter of your life. And I wanted that to be the end of it because you know it's true. You know, there's so many avenues in life that, you know, as we grow up, there's so much that, you know, we go through, and all these experiences kind of put together what, you know, your life is going to be like for the rest of your life. And at least in my music, that's kind of what I'm trying to reflect. You know, the idea of me growing up, as you mature, as you grow up, or the mistakes, any achievement you make, you know, kind of put that into perspective with my music. So yeah, there's a lot of collaborations coming up, you know, with different artists that I'm meeting. Lots of talented, amazing musicians out there. And
nice.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. I don't know if it's going to be like a series that continues the album, you know, like kind of like, you know, myself, you know, venturing into the world. That'd be nice, you know. So we'll see. I'm still putting all that together. Probably not going to get an album anytime soon. You know, I'm kind of taking a rest for now.
That's why I need to make use of the current album.
Yep.
Yo, out now on Spotify. Okay.
Right. Go stream Unwanted Nostalgia by Manny Zumar on every single platform.
Every single platform. All right.
Well, we look forward to anything else you put out. So
yeah, we enjoyed listening to
yeah,
it.
we really
and,
I did, yeah.
Awesome, man. No, I'm really glad. It was a lot of work, so I'm glad it's paying.
Yeah.
paying off. Glad it didn't flop.
Yeah.
I will bring you guys up to my first concert.
Big.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Backstage passes.
Yeah, go for
VIP.
it. Yeah.
Man, yeah. Me and Jeremy are saying, and I think we mentioned to you, once the public opens back up, concerts are back in session.
Yeah.
Gotta go to Burning Man.
No.
No, cut.
Can you edit that out? No. I mean we gotta go to some type of EDM.
We've gone places with David, but we get to experience the concert with you.
Since we just talked about David being our music man. Was it last episode, Justin? Yeah. So
we called him the concert connoisseur or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy listens to like everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know how people are like, oh, what type of genre of music do you like?
Everything.
And you know, you're like, oh, sure.
He listens. This boy listens. Okay. Like
and he doesn't just hear a song, he listens to a song. Yeah. No, it's
he doesn't hear songs hear him. All right.
Yeah. I remember I actually showed him the album before it released. As you know, I was like, hey, you got to check this out.
Yeah.
And he listened to it. He's like,
what'd you do?
What did you do? No, he loved it, you know. So so I think it paid off. You know, I in my head, you know, if he likes something, then it means there's gonna be a group out there that likes it too.
Yeah.
Very nice, true.
Yeah.
So me and Jeremy are saying we've already talked about how much we like The Weeknd and how much we liked his After Hours album.
Oh,
and,
yeah, great.
It was
great.
Yeah.
And he's going on tour next year, so we're like,
we want
to check that out.
I'm there, man.
Hey, let's get it.
I'm there.
You can totally come if you want to. So.
Yeah, let's go. I'm inviting myself in case that was, in case that wasn't an invitation. I'm inviting myself, or I'll just be there. I'll go on my own. We'll just meet up.
Wait, you're here? I did not.
What?
Know.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I know, like his song "Blinding Lights." Obviously, I'm going for the generic one, right? But
yeah, but I mean, it's still a good song.
It's still
great.
Yeah. The
2
synths
billion
that
streams.
Yeah, the synths that he used were kind of a leading inspiration for a lot of the songs that I use as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bum bum ba-da-dum, bum, so
Yeah.
those synths that are playing those notes, a
Mhm.
lot of them, I mean, they're pretty generic. I mean, he probably tweaked them a little bit, but they're amazing, instantly recognizable. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh,
Right.
this is like, even if you know nothing about music, you're kind of just like, oh, 80s beat or something, or
Yeah.
synth wave,
Mhm.
or
Yeah, like that sound is kind of iconic.
yeah,
So
yeah. So it helps out with music. So, oh yeah,
Yeah, when we
great.
were talking about creating kind of like a story and a vibe for an album, I think he did that really nicely.
he did really well. I mean, and I know like some people, especially now, they're like, "Oh my gosh, he needs to lose the whole red jacket."
It's a great
Especially
look.
after
It's a
Super Bowl, but it's like,
storyline.
yeah, that's like that's his album's like storyline character. He's not just gonna throw that away, you know.
No,
So,
no,
like,
yeah. It makes sense. I think for the casual listener, it's probably like, oh, why is he still wearing it? But like for people that truly,
Yeah.
are there for the story, yeah,
Mhm.
it makes sense. It
Yeah.
makes sense as to why he's doing it. And that's like such great promotion for
Yeah.
his own music.
He's
Because
creating a great image. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you're thinking, wait, why is this dude always wearing a red jacket? And then leads you over to like looking it up. Now
which leads you to the album.
yeah, next
and
thing you
then-
know, you're listening to this
listening to
guy.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's amazing promotion.
So
About the Super Bowl. Did you know that his jacket was 40 pounds
No way.
yeah,
with
What?
gemstones?
because it had all
Oh,
these
wow.
like diamonds and gemstones on
I
it.
did
Yeah.
not know that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. It's
Yeah.
the weekend. But
Yeah.
Can we talk about the performance, by the way?
Let's
And,
talk
like,
about it.
I
Yeah.
really liked it.
dude.
It was fantastic.
They amazing.
Amazing,
I mean,
yeah.
love the dude. I think they kind of did him dirty with the microphone, the levels. That was my little critique.
Oh
it's,
yeah.
just a little.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna adjust that because that's not his fault.
Yeah.
And like on top of that, I know I was reading about it, and somebody mentioned that like his performance was one of the first performances that was actually live, like no backup. Obviously you have some backup stuff, but
Okay.
Mhm.
mainly just him.
Yeah.
going for it, as opposed to the many other generations, which is probably why it sounded so quiet, because you
Yeah.
weren't used to like having an actual live performance going on.
All
A
right.
lot
Yeah.
of these other artists, they can sing and everything, but it's just like such a giant
Since
open
it's
stadium.
mhm.
And I've thought about that as well before. I'm like, the acoustics on that, there's no way
Yeah.
that we're hearing
Sure,
such
yeah.
great quality. There's
Yeah.
no way. And so the weekend's performance is actually what it should sound like.
Which
for-
I mean,
which
to the
is pretty
average music listener, me and Justin, like I mean, it sounded pretty good.
It sounded fine to us.
Yeah.
yeah. No, it was great. Overall, amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
he put in so much work to it.
Especially he with what he had to like he the work that he had with what he had to deal with, I thought was good. I mean, obviously times were different right now. He couldn't put on the same Super Bowl show maybe as he could have, if coronavirus wasn't going on right now or whatever. But like with what he had, I feel like he did really good.
No, yeah.
So
And the
I
fact
mean, he
that
was-
like
yeah.
he put a lot of his own money into that show.
I
Yeah.
think he put like 7 million of his own money. So
yeah, which is not that much in his
well,
bank account.
yeah, I mean, but to us we're like, wow, 7 million,
Yeah.
like that's
Still,
nuts.
for one
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Honestly, I thought overall he was pretty safe. I mean, aside from having the people that were running around him, but with COVID
COVID.
and everything.
Yeah.
But I really thought, I know we were gonna bring this up at one point. I really wanted Daft Punk to show up.
They should-
Oh my
Would
gosh.
it not have been the best send
It would have
off
been
for their career?
perfect.
Dude,
Perfect.
I-
Because they do the Super Bowl a month later. Hey guys, we're retiring. Like
Yeah.
It would have been perfect.
perfect.
My theory since the moment that the weekend was announced, I was like, you know what? They're gonna show up. Because they're
Yeah.
known to show up like once every 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know
It's
what?
been
This
so
is
long since their Grammy wins.
the
so-
Grammys. Yeah.
And since they have such successful songs with the weekend, like Starboy, so
Exactly. Yeah. And I was like, there's no way they're gonna miss this opportunity.
yeah,
Yeah. I thought the weekend, Daft Punk, and I was thinking like Kendrick Lamar or like I don't know,
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that he's
that-
collabed with, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, they could have done the
Sidewalks,
Sidewalks. Yeah.
yeah,
Dude, they could have easily gone for that.
and they did the song on the Black Panther album.
Pray for me,
Yeah, Pray for Me.
Pray for
yeah,
Me,
yeah,
they did.
yeah,
Wow, I forgot about
that could have
one.
been really good.
That song
Yeah.
goes hard.
Oh, dude, can you just think about that? That would have been such a great like sign of respect for like Chadwick Boseman.
Oh my gosh, that would have been so
yes.
good. Yeah.
What
What
is a
bigger way
miss-
to like pay respect than like the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yeah,
Like,
that man. That would have been such a great.
uh,
See, we should have came up with the Super Bowl
I-
ourselves.
hey yo,
Every-
NFL, please hit us
Come
up
on.
next year. Come on.
Yeah, no, dude, missed opportunities. But I mean, given the circumstances, with COVID and
Yeah.
everything, I understand. So
Yeah.
it's fine. But I definitely think I was obviously very upset when you heard
Yeah.
the news about Daft Punk.
Yeah. So
Shaped so much. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, tribute to Daft Punk. They really did the most.
Because I mean, I think we all can agree here that we were hoping they were gonna come back for
Tron.
Tron. Yeah.
Hey, wow, what a segue.
What a segue.
And
So-
with that, we go on to our next part of the podcast. We're talking about.
We're gonna be gushing over Tron.
Okay, this is the real reason we had you over, because we just wanted to talk about this.
This is where everybody starts leaving the podcast. Like, oh, that's it. All right, we're done talking about the album. Now we're just
done.
Focused. Yep.
So what I think is really great and really funny, I would say half of our relationship is based off of our love for Tron.
Honestly, that's all right.
We just unite as friends
Yeah.
over this
Yeah,
movie.
Dude, there's so much to talk about there.
there is.
There's so much. There's so many things, and like, you guys don't know this, but to the people that are listening, we did a test run yesterday of this podcast. We're just kind of going over the acoustics and whatnot. And Justin over here is all like, "Dude, shut up, stop talking about it."
No,
Wait,
we need to
he's like-
save it for the podcast.
He's like, save the content for tomorrow.
You guys actually missed one of the bigger jokes that we should have saved until today.
Oh, man.
Let's reenact it.
Okay. All right.
So Jeremy,
So,
what obscure quote do you love most?
well, it's a quote said by.
I know it.
Oh, what is it?
Well, give me a little context.
All
What
right,
is
all
it?
right. Well, it's one word, and it's between Clue and Kevin Flynn.
What?
One word.
One word.
We sound so stupid.
I know.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
To the people that don't know what we're talking about, there's this amazing scene in Tron Legacy where
First of all, like, if you haven't seen it, please just go watch
Please,
it.
Yeah,
It's on
please
Disney Plus.
Go watch Tron. It's an amazing movie.
I will pay you physical money to go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Just so we can be friends and then we can talk about it afterwards.
You have an appreciation for Daft Punk, their album, and Manny's album.
Yeah.
So
It's all connected.
It's-
Come on.
Yeah, I planned this ever since it came out.
basically.
Yeah. No, there's so many things in that movie that are amazing. I mean, like, I think we could talk. I know we talked about this earlier. We could talk about this for like 3 hours. straight.
Literally, I could go all day with Tron.
And we're not gonna do that to the audience. But
yeah.
I mean, soundtrack alone, that's a whole conversation.
Yeah.
Just,
Like,
to those of you who are
next-
to those of you who
Next
are
level.
unaware. Yeah, we keep interrupting. To those of you who are unaware, Daft Punk scored with the help of like actual,
Yeah.
mixing and mastering with other
Mhm.
people for films. But I mean, they pretty much made the entire album, every song that you're hearing on Tron Legacy, except
Mhm.
for two, which is Separate Ways and Sweet Dreams, by Eurythmics, or however you say their name.
Yeah.
And I know that because I've seen this movie 1,000 times.
What could it be? 1,000 cycles?
1,000? Do you remember when
2,000?
when we sat down and did the
we
math?
literally sat down and did the math of how long Kevin Flynn has been there. We were like, so if a cycle represents 10 years or whatever the conversion rate was.
I forgot what it was. We could probably do it right now.
We were-
I don't. Yeah, but it's just
But-
there was. I think like a certain amount of cycles that it was
Wasn't it?
equivalent to like 10 years or something like
It
that.
was a long. It was just yeah.
He was in there for, I think we said like 100 and something years.
Yeah.
Or was it more?
I think it was more.
More? Was
Bec-
it
I
like
mean,
in?
Like obviously in like real world, it was only
It was only like
it was only
like 30 years or something.
30 years, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think there it was like I don't want to make it. I think it was almost like 1,000, or what it would
I
feel
want to
like.
say it was like 700 something years.
Yeah, it was.
Which
It was.
just
It was
that's
somewhere in that
wild.
bracket, which is
Yeah.
nuts.
Like, how did he not go insane?
I know.
Yeah, but
Because he had Korra.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Also, I just realized, do none of them ever age besides him? I guess not, because they're
I
programs,
just.
right?
They're just
Yeah.
programs.
Yeah. So I guess
it's,
not.
Yeah.
it's not how real life. is
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
there, but
Yeah.
yeah, this movie, I think we mentioned the soundtrack,
Yeah.
the visuals,
Oh,
Everything.
this-
I just love
the
the visual in this
characters,
movie.
the storytelling.
I remember I was in high school and
Yeah.
one of my classmates had never seen the movie Tron, and I was like, "Hey, look, dude, you just he's a giant movie enthusiast. I'm like, look, you gotta go watch this movie."
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, fine." He goes out, watches the movie, comes back, and he's like, "Meh." I'm like,
Meh.
"Are you kidding me right now?" And he's like, "The acting was okay." I'm like, "Okay, look, say I agreed with you. Say, because I think it's a phenomenal movie."
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm like, how are you gonna disrespect like Jeff Bridges? How are you gonna and he's like, no, he's like that was pretty
He's
good.
a
I'm like,
legend.
yeah. He's like, no, that was pretty good. It's just like Olivia Wilde. I'm like, okay,
Okay.
but look at her. Look, it's Olivia Wilde.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. No, but I mean, everything about that film, set aside that stupid opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody rates movies in different ways, but to me, I am not a harsh movie critic.
No,
When
like,
I enjoy something, I will say I like it.
if
So,
I was, if I was enjoying this movie for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, and it's keeping my attention, then I liked it. You know what I mean? Like, so
I'm one of the few people that thoroughly enjoyed Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire. I think it was I thought it was a great movie.
Mhm.
I'm like,
it's not bad.
Yeah, I'm like, does it have certain elements that probably didn't need to be in there? Yeah, but like overall, I'm like, I remember it so well. It's
Yeah.
nostalgia. Speaking of,
yo,
being my son. And so like going back to Tron, it's like that's if you enjoyed the movie, quit critiquing it that hard. Did you enjoy it? The visuals, the music, that's it.
That's
Mhm.
something me and Jeremy mention all the time, that we hate how critical people are over
I
things
know.
nowadays. And everybody, with Tron, everybody acts like if a movie releases with so much hype, it should be literally the best thing ever, which it's not supposed to be. It's just supposed to be enjoyable for the audience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which most movies are pretty average, but can still be very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I know you guys are probably going to hate me for the next comment that I'm gonna make. I'm prepared to take in the hate, but I'm going to rectify it. Rectify
games. Please watch the movie, everyone. Okay.
You'll understand if you watch the movie. I'm going to rectify what I'm about to say. So I had never seen the movie, and you'll know when I make the comment.
Okay.
So this isn't it. The next statement. I had never seen the Avatar show. Okay. The Last Airbender. I'd never seen it before in my entire life. And I remember going to the movies when I was little, no idea, no clue about what the Last Airbender is, the show. And I went to go see the actual movie.
Oh no.
Okay, you need to leave.
I've removed you from the Zoom call.
I will rectify. And I watched the film, and my I want to say it was like 12, 15, I can't remember. My 12-year-old brain thought this is one of the coolest things I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Right.
Like out of context, it probably is.
Like,
Out of context.
In theory, it should have been good.
In theory, right. And like in my head, I'm like, look at all that awesome water bending. Look at this fire bending. Look at that one rock that's just floating across the screen.
Yeah.
That's solid. I'm like, I don't know what this is all about, but I enjoyed it. Okay. Fast forward, right, to now.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who, a couple of my friends were telling me, they're like, have you seen, they were making Avatar jokes, and they brought up that movie, and they're like, it's trash. I'm like, I thought it was pretty good. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. And they were like, you need to go, have you watched the show? I'm like, no. And they're like, bro, that's your problem.
That's your problem. Yeah, exactly.
That's your first problem.
Go watch the show, come back to us later. I'm like, okay. So I think my month and a half of watching the show. Literal tears coming down my cheeks.
It's
Right?
so
Literal
Right?
tears coming down.
It's
And
so good.
I don't want to spoil anything because like I don't
Yeah.
know if anybody's out there, but can we just I'm just gonna say Zuko.
Wow.
Can we just
so tragic.
can we just the soundtrack behind that? The I'm just gonna say the final fight between Zuko and
Mhm.
somebody.
Yes.
That
Oh my
soundtrack,
gosh,
that
yes.
score, I was like
It's amazing.
I was tearing up. I was the reunion between Zuko and something, you
Mhm.
know, literal tears, dude. I was just crying, sobbing. And
how-
I was like, oh my god, how is a cartoon doing this to me?
See,
And this goes
and
back
this
to our
is-
animation episode.
And I watched that, and I watched. I
Yeah.
was listening
this
to
is
that.
why we were talking about animation
'Cause
has
it's-
such an
it's
emotional
a-
impact.
Because it's an amazing story.
The storytelling. I remember. I know this isn't that big of a spoiler for the show. I remember the first time that I kind of like teared up was like, you guys are gonna come to the people that are listening. You're gonna come to know that I'm a pretty emotional dude, and and that's fine. I don't care. Fight me about it. So and like the show. Do you guys remember when they're at the beach when Zuko and Azula and all of them, Ty Lee,
Yeah.
they're
Mhm.
all like at a beach, right? They're
Yeah.
just chilling, vacations or whatever,
Mhm.
and they all decide to sit around that campfire. You guys
Yeah.
remember that? You know, probably know where I'm going with it.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in my life, I've kind of just got bottled up a lot of emotions before, you know, and then kind of sometimes just releases and
Mhm.
sucks, you know. It's terrible for you. Don't do it. I don't recommend anybody doing it.
You don't recommend emotions.
No.
Just don't have them.
Yeah, just don't do that. And I remember I think one of the biggest reasons that I loved Avatar was just because of Zuko's story arc. Because I mean he just goes through so much pain and he doesn't know what to do with it. You know, he's just pure anger. He doesn't understand why and he wants to be I'm not gonna say anymore. But anyway, he the one scene when they all start attacking him, they're like, why are you angry? You know, why are you angry, Zuko? Like,
Right.
who are you
Mhm.
angry with? And then it's just bottling up everything and bombarding him. You know, all these voices coming in that, you know, like my album. And all these voices coming in, and at the end he's like, I'm angry at myself, and then just like the fire just goes off.
Oh
Can
yeah.
we talk about the voice acting for that? You know,
Again,
he's like,
voice
Yeah,
acting
Voice acting is
is
like
crucial.
crucially underrated.
how did you convey so much emotion through
Into a
saying one line,
microphone,
just
yeah.
one line, just saying I'm angry at myself, like tears. I remember I teared up. I'm like, oh my god, this dude, you know.
He-
It's
He's-
powerful, powerful stuff. Yeah.
He's literally summing up our entire animation episode in like a couple sentences. You're
I
saying
could've-
again, like the amount of work and like control you have to have of yourself to put all that in, through only your voice. Like no facial, no body language, nothing, just pure voice is
Yeah.
tremendous.
No, dude, it was something else. Easily one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Same
You
with
know,
me. Jeremy and some of our friends and cousins saw it years ago.
I saw it a couple years ago, and then when it finally came back to Netflix, me and a couple of my friends were all like, "Yo, you guys hear about Avatar's on Netflix?" We were all watching it again, getting caught up since we hadn't seen it in a long time. And I was like,
Yeah.
Justin, and not only me, and then a bunch of other friends, we have this group chat, and we were all talking about it, making jokes. And Justin's like, haha, yeah, Avatar. And I was like, Justin,
I'm like,
you've
no.
got to watch this show.
wait, you had never seen it?
Justin had never seen
I
it.
hadn't seen it since last summer. Yeah.
Okay.
And
See,
I-
so I wasn't that late either. You know?
No, and I told Justin, I was like, dude, you've actually have got to sit down and watch this. So,
I-
and he did, and I was very glad he did.
I watched
So-
it and I have never felt.
And he's
so,
been a changed man since.
I'm a changed man.
I think it's something that like actually changes you, you know, because it's you know, in the from their point of view, you know, it's looking into your spiritual self, you know, you could kind of rewrite that into however you want to say it, but it's kind of digging into who you really are.
Oh,
Mhm.
for
You know,
sure. Yeah.
who are you supposed to be in life? What are you meant to do? You
Yeah.
know, one of the biggest rundowns of, especially for like Zuko's storyline, like who are you truly supposed to be? You know, and you know, a lot of those things are things that young people, you know, think about. You know, like, well, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And then the show kind of just goes full throttle with that idea, that concept. You know, it goes on with Aang, you know, like not knowing, you know, what his purpose is supposed to be either.
Right.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
and then he finally discovers it towards the very end. Everybody does, and you're just like, man, the conclusion, the way that everything kind of just ties in.
It all comes together at the
Yeah.
end. Yeah.
Yeah, Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful storytelling.
And yeah, to remember, this is an animated show on Nickelodeon, so to have this much powerful storytelling is
Yeah.
And
pretty
if
amazing.
and like we said, this is not just a kid show. Like
Mhm.
so.
So,
No, there's so much. There's so much that goes on. I'm very glad that we're getting more Avatar stuff.
I heard about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That
if you haven't, also on Netflix, there's the Legend of Korra series.
I
You should-
dude, I just finished watching that.
Oh, you finished that? Did
Dude,
you like,
yeah.
Did you like
so-
that too?
Okay, I loved it. I know there's
Mhm.
so much backlash behind that.
I liked it a lot.
No,
more
me
than
and
I thought
Justin,
I
because
would.
I hadn't seen it either, and when did we finish it?
We
When
finished it.
January or December?
We finished it before the end of the year.
Okay, so
yeah.
we finished the end of last year, and yeah, me and Justin both really liked it too. So
Yeah, I was like, Korra's hot. that I'm like, that probably means that Aang is hot too, and that's weird. So I'm gonna,
Well, Aang's 12, so
yeah, okay. That now you made it weird.
okay. This is the second offense. We just need to
this
kick
is
you
where
out.
you edit
Yeah.
out the.
just chop it up.
No, it's just,
hello,
it's,
officer.
yeah, this is him. No, like that show was so well made. I know there's so many people that are like, oh, you can't like both of them. And I remember at the start of the Legend of Korra, I was admittedly a little sad because I was like, well, they're not the same people. Everything is in the
Yeah.
future now. And I
That's
don't
true.
like
Yeah.
that. You know, I didn't like that there was towns and that there was a city, and I was like,
It was
"Mm."
different for sure, but
Yeah, I didn't like it
really-
at first.
we really came around to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the more you watched it, I think like at the end, towards the end of the first season, you start getting into more cool,
Yeah.
more stuff. And I think, is it the third season? The one with Zahir in it. I think that was my
Oh,
favorite.
yeah.
Third one.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about freedom, and like to me, like
Yes.
Zahir is probably one of the best villains out there.
I liked.
Yeah.
I thought Amon was really interesting from the first.
He was very
season.
interesting.
Yeah.
too. Yeah, they
Kind of a psychological villain, but
yeah,
Yeah.
they really know how to make their villains. I'll give
They
them
really
that.
do.
that's what really makes a story for me when you make a compelling villain.
Yeah, that's like you feel bad for them, and you're like, I don't know
Like-
which side to really be on.
Yeah.
It's great to have a cool hero, but you have to have a compelling, conflicted villain to really
Yeah,
match them.
conflict. I think that's
Yeah.
the word, conflict. Between inside of the actual villain. So yeah, I agree. Well, we certainly kind of straight off.
Went off
Tron.
topic of Tron, but
So yeah, anybody, if you want to hear more animation discussions, check out our "Why Animation is Underrated" episode.
Yeah, go for it, man. And if you would like to stream my album, you can also do
streaming on
that
Spotify.
I don't know how many times I've mentioned that already, but yeah, it's there.
I think going back to Tron.
Yeah,
Something else we need to talk about is Tron 3 speculation.
Oh man.
So how you feeling about it now? Now that
Okay.
Daft Punk is retired.
Okay, so my initial hopes. So I have two opinions on just the Daft Punk stuff alone. I'll talk about the movie in a bit. My initial theory was that obviously, well, it wasn't a theory. It was confirmed that Daft Punk was supposedly going to come back
They
and
said so,
score.
yeah.
They said
Mhm.
so. So that could lead to a couple of things. So that means they probably already got through the production of that.
Could
They
be.
actually already did it, and then they're just going to release it as a surprise thing. And technically, they're still a broken up band.
Mhm.
That's one theory. It's kind of out there. I don't think so, because it's a lot of work for a film, and especially if the movie isn't done yet.
I don't believe they've even shot anything yet.
Yeah.
So.
So if they
Yeah.
haven't done that, most likely they didn't. My other opinion is that like somebody theoretically could come in, and replace the soundtrack. Somebody else can come in and they can be like, hey, well, we know Daft Punk isn't here anymore, but we can still bring in those same elements, because there's
They could
so many.
try.
Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many talented musicians out there, and you can figure it out. You can
Mhm.
crack it. But it's the thought that it's not Daft Punk
Yeah.
that's really tearing me down here.
You're gonna hear the difference, even if
Yeah.
it's good music.
Yeah, exactly. I know they're bringing Jared Leto as the leading actor.
Which I'm not a fan of Jared Leto, but
Oh, you're not? Okay. I think he's a great actor. I think it's just the scripts that he gets.
Here's what our view. I think Jeremy can agree.
Okay.
Jared Leto might be a great actor, but the fact that he's just a straight up weirdo conflicts with me.
Is he really?
Kind of.
Have you heard about? I mean, sure, it's his personal life, but
Yeah.
the fact that he's like a super method actor and like
Oh
is-
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. I see what you mean. Like, I'm
Like-
not gonna vouch for the guy. Like, I don't
Yeah.
love him or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well-
I think overall he's a good actor, but
he could do a good job. It's just I think he's kind of a creep. But
I mean, dude, what if this podcast blows up and Jared Leto hears it? I think he's a creep. No, it's fine.
guys, I retract my further statement.
I cut it out. That's why you post editing.
Yeah.
but
Um,
you know, Jared Leto too could do a great job, but you know, we all love
Sam.
and Korra, so we want to
Yeah.
see them back, which
That-
is probably not going to happen. But
That's what I was gonna get at. I don't know if you guys have seen Sam now. I forget the name of the actual actor.
I just watched an interview with him.
Isn't it? It's Charlie, or is
oh,
it
it's,
not Charlie? I'm
Garrett
just wrong,
Hedlund.
dude. I don't know where I got
What is
Charlie
it?
from, dude.
Garrett what?
Garrett Hedlund. Yeah.
Headland. Okay, that sounds right. Yeah, so he I don't know if you've seen him now, but he's kind of buffed up a bit, you know. And I would personally love to see him with like a beard coming in, like kind of like a Viking-like beard. I don't know.
He's the
May-
next generation Flynn.
Yeah, or he's like the next Tron, you know, like in a sense,
Oh.
you know, like they
He-
codified like another version that looks like him. And
Do you think Tron's alive? Spoiler alert.
Dude,
Spoiler alert! Oh, we know he's alive.
dude, come on.
If we're basing it off of Tron the show, you know, the one that came out after the movie, then yes, he's alive. Yeah, if that's canon, I don't know if it is.
So yeah, Tron Uprising. That's a really good. Show, too.
Uprising. Yeah,
Mhm.
I never finished it, but I remember it being pretty good when I was little. And,
I watched it last summer too. I
Yeah.
watched a lot of stuff last year. Okay.
I think I think they could easily reboot, like from the outside world, our world. They could reboot the program or create another one, and it's just an image copy of Tron. You know, so yeah, I think they can make that work if they want to.
Let's see.
If they want to keep him dead, that's fine as well. I mean, that was a pretty cool death. You know?
Yeah,
Because
he
okay,
redeemed himself in the end.
He did.
Oh, spoilers. Okay.
Continuing the spoiler alerts.
Oh, I
Um,
forget. I just realized what you meant by spoilers. I thought you meant for like Tron 3. I'm like,
No.
well,
No.
I guess.
Because at the end, because does his light go out or does it go on? I
It
don't
goes
remember.
blue.
It goes blue,
It goes blue.
but it doesn't go out.
It doesn't
Yeah.
go out. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
we're
it-
never. Yeah, we just
is
never
it-
know.
Is it symbolic or does it mean that he's alive? Yeah, that's the question.
I think it's one of those like Inception ending type of things.
Yeah.
So you never know. It's a good way of like leaving the door open. You know, see what happens.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
I think if they make the movie, it could be okay, but I don't think it could be the worthy sequel that it needs.
That we want. Yeah.
At this point, if Daft Punk isn't gonna be in it, then it's like completely. If nobody from the original cast is coming back in, Daft
They're
Punk
not-
isn't gonna be there. It's
they're
not
not,
Tron.
they're not bringing back the original director or the writers.
Oh, they're
so-
not. Yeah, that's not Tron. So
No. I mean,
to
will
me-
I see it? Probably, but will it
Yeah,
be as
most
good?
likely.
No, probably
No.
not.
there's no way it's gonna be as memorable as the lines that you see.
Yeah.
You know, for Tron, the one that we have. You know.
I think we should have. I think this is it's a controversial pick, but I think the lead role in Tron 3 should actually be The Rock. And
What?
I mean,
Dwayne The Rock.
it's a hot take, all right, but
He could be Sam's son.
yeah.
Samsung. Okay.
Sam and Korra's
Oh,
son.
Somehow he became The Rock, Dwayne
he
The Rock
beca-
Johnson.
yeah.
They adopted him. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Genetics mean nothing. It's
No.
Korra. Yeah. Okay. That's it's a very bold statement. Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything I wanted to mention about Tron. I'm sure, you know, we talked about quotes and well, we didn't talk about quotes, but you know, yeah, like just what we were saying. It's just so memorable. There's no way, I don't know. There's no way they're gonna
Yeah.
top it.
Yeah. I want to see a sequel, but I also don't want it at the same time.
Yeah. You never never mind. It's controversial.
no, say it.
Personally, I wanted to see what the next Avatar movie was gonna be like. The movie. The terrible one that we got.
Mm.
I wanted to know like
Okay.
where I wanted them to finish their trilogy. I wanted them to see at least, what's the firebending and earthbending, what's it going to look like? What storyline were they going to go with?
Now the thing is, we've never seen the movie, so
See,
Whoa, you never saw the movie?
no.
Wow. That's
But I wasn't a fan back then, but then
Yeah.
our cousin saw it way back when it came out,
and she was like, it was
he
terrible.
was like, it was terrible. Don't
Yeah,
watch it.
don't watch it. And I was like, I won't.
I would say the only good thing about it is the CGI. That's pretty impressive, except for the rock that kind of just floats.
I'm sure it had a spectacle factor to it, but
Yeah, it did. It had a very good spectacle factor. But aside from that, yeah, they're very serious. Nothing like the comic,
Yeah.
like the show.
Yeah.
So
Did
it
my
is what
man
it is.
did my man Sasha wrong?
They did. Unfortunately.
So takeaways from this: watch Tron, watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, and
Yes.
listen to Unwanted Nostalgia.
By Manny Zumar, streaming on every single platform right now.
Check
Also
out
buy
his-
my merch.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, you were gonna say that?
Yeah, I was just saying that.
I'll let you. Let's reverse it. Ready? Go.
Buy his merch.
That's all you gotta say.
That's all I just say.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, man. It's I'm looking forward to the next time we talk on a podcast. Maybe the next single.
Yeah,
That I
yeah.
have.
we definitely love to have you on again in the future.
Yeah, we're glad you could be our first guest. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
and
man.
First
talking
guest
about
on the
it.
Fresh Squeeze podcast.
Yeah. I'm glad I could just make time for it.
Yeah, I mean, I know your music schedule is so busy. You know,
It's tight now.
it really is.
Yeah.
Once you get big, you might not even respond to our
Our DMs anymore.
Oh man, no! Once I get big, I'm gonna talk to Minute Maid.
Oh
That's-
yes. Yo,
You really gotta-
Minute Maid, we love your lemonade.
If you guys want to sponsor Fresh Squeeze, hi, it's me, Manny Zumar. You've probably heard of me.
Yeah.
If you guys would like to sponsor Fresh Squeeze, go for it. I mean, they've got some great ideas coming up. They've got an awesome podcast going on here, talking about a lot of stuff. And I've heard rumors that they might start TikTok. You never know.
Hey.
You never know.
You heard it from the man yourself.
Yep.
I mean,
So,
he
there
speaks
you go.
facts.
Exactly. So I can't wait to be on here again. Maybe next time that I release a single
Yeah.
album, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll
I-
talk about music, talk about movies.
Yeah, if you guys kind of slow down the video that I showed you, you'll probably see a couple ideas.
Oh, a little sneak peek. Fan base gonna go crazy when this comes out.
Yep. Nobody do that. Blur it out. Blur it
Blur
out. Yeah, I've got a couple ideas going on.
That's
a
good.
couple
Cool.
songs. So we'll see when it releases. Maybe in a couple months. Maybe not.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
There we go. All right. Well, that has been our complete interview, part one. For
Part
now,
one.
until another day,
Yes.
you come back.
Yeah, I
Our interview
appreciate it, man.
with Manny Zumar. Check out
Yeah.
once again, one more time,
Yeah,
his
check-
album.
Go for it. Listen to Unwanted Nostalgia by Manny Zumar, streaming on all platforms, guys. I appreciate it, man. It's
there you
been
go.
a pleasure being on here. A lot of fun.
Glad to have you on.
So yeah, all of our listeners, if you happen to listen to his album, you can go to his Instagram, let him know which one is your favorite, and comment on ours too, and we'll just let him know. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me know. Let me know, man.
All right, everybody. So you can check us out on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, where you may be putting out some TikTok content soon to get out
Woo.
to all the young people. So thanks everybody for joining in. We had fun, and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
See you guys.